What is a hero? It's someone who steps up, who sees a need and fills it, who selflessly gives of herself for others, who puts the needs of others before his own, who doesn't wait to be asked, who, like the prophet Isaiah, sees what needs to be done to make a difference and says, "Hineni, here I am, send me." Last year, as COVID-19 hit our community like a tsunami, we saw what heroes looked like. They didn't ask for attention, for thanks, or applause. They just did what they needed to do, what they could do, to make things a little better, to save lives, to keep people connected, and feeling like they were not alone.
I'm an epidemiologist. I'm the director of infection control for Memorial Healthcare System in Broward County, and we have been affected by the pandemic since day one. I cannot thank enough how much support we have had from the temple from the beginning, with the donations of masks that we didn't know if we were going to have enough masks. We immediately had masks made for us from the temple to give to all of our patients. And that was one of the most amazing things and support from the community I've ever seen. Our healthcare workers were thankful for the multitude of meals that were provided from Temple Bethel and from the community at large. The pandemic has definitely had some interesting effects on our ways of life. So being part of the Temple Bethel Coronavirus Task Force, I've had the privilege of helping to make some very difficult decisions, and have continued to work with my temple friends and my community to make sure that we are as safe as we can be in this trying time.
When the pandemic initially hit, there was an extraordinary need for essential PPE. Once the CDC came out and said that masks were going to be extremely effective in curbing the spread of COVID-19, my mom, Linda, and I recognized this need. We ended up donating over 800 masks when all was said and done, and it fulfilled a huge need in the community, specifically in hospitals. At the end of the day, when looking back on this project, we're extremely thankful to have been involved and extremely thankful to all of those who were involved and helped us ultimately distribute these 800 plus masks in our local community. But especially, we could not have done this without Rachel Guran, who was extremely important in helping us get these masks to our frontline workers.
I wanted to do the meal train because I had seen an interview of a doctor in Manhattan that was talking about how they were working 24/7 and didn't have time to even eat. And this was in the beginning of COVID when they were really badly hit up there in New York. And I thought, they must all be having that kind of issue, and maybe it would be nice to help them out and not have to worry about where they were going to get their food from. They could just worry about taking care of the patients. And I'm sure that they were exhausted and working really hard, and I just wanted to support them, with a good meal so they could have the strength to keep working so hard.
After the initial shutdown, we saw parents struggle to do their work while trying to engage their young children who could no longer attend the early learning center they loved. We had to find a way to open our doors. The courage and dedication of our staff and faculty was unbelievable. Everyone stepped up, learning new procedures to engage and enrich the lives of our children. I was amazed at how quickly our students adapted to temperature checks in carpool, mask protocols during the day, all while still learning our numbers, letters, and the foundations of our Jewish lives. And as difficult as this year has been, we have all grown so much closer as a community.
Right away, we transformed our religious school to a completely online format. We thought it was just for a few weeks, and then we saw the pandemic was going to continue into the fall. So we did a full 180 pivot and created Religious School 180. The idea was to keep the education online in a safe space, but make sure that it was rich. And we also wanted to provide families with do-it-yourself activities that they could opt into at home. We had to reimagine how we were going to educate our students from kindergarten through 12th grade and how we were going to socially engage our children to keep them connected.
With all the trauma and chaos of this year, we knew we needed the High Holy Days to feel like home. And so we took apart the Holy Days and rebuilt them, shot by shot, so we could bring every member of our congregation into the sanctuary virtually and provide the uplift to start this extraordinary new year. And then we did the same for every holiday this past year, Hanukkah, Purim, Passover, sharing the warmth and creativity of Temple Bethel.
I remember the exact moment on March 12th when it became clear our website would be the only open door for our congregation to enter, and that clear communication was more vital than ever. Our team worked round the clock, and by Friday, March 13th, Virtual Bethel was created.
My first thought was that we needed a portal on our website for our members to enter. So I created the graphic concept for Virtual Bethel, and we began to build the web pages for our live stream feeds, our social media links, our program calendar, and our online registration pages. And with each passing week, we added many new creative ways to keep our congregation connected.
We helped our members learn new computer skills to access our online portals. We taught ourselves more and more about how to maximize our live stream, Zoom, Facebook Live, and YouTube channels to make sure that we could bring Temple Bethel into the homes of as many members as possible.
Last February, I moved across the country to invigorate teen engagement here at Temple Bethel. But like all of us, I stepped up to do what needed to be done. Drawing on my technical theater background, I quickly learned Zoom production, video editing, and content creation. 12 months in, we have full-on production capabilities and have created amazing online programs and holiday celebrations. Through Zoom and live streaming, we have made it possible for someone to attend a funeral service who can't be here, or to participate in a grandchild's becoming bat mitzvah because they can't attend in person. And that I find so very meaningful.
Although I'm responsible for hundreds of thousands of square feet of Temple Bethel's buildings, my work quickly turned to creating the infrastructure to support Virtual Bethel, upgrading the temple's Wi-Fi, technical capabilities, adding new cameras, computers, lights, microphones, all of which we had to install in our clergy's homes. And we even transformed our sanctuary and chapel into Zoom studios. Our team works so hard to keep the Beck Family Campus safe for our preschool children and teachers, all while working to keep our Schaefer Family Campus safe for our staff, our bar mitzvah families, and those mourning loved ones. People come to Temple Bethel for their most important and difficult moments in life. And I am so proud of our efforts to make sure that people could be here safely.
While our temple clergy and staff were creating the infrastructure to keep our temple going during the darkest days of the pandemic, our Chaverim team of staff and lay volunteers were calling every member of the congregation to make sure they knew the temple was here for support. We discovered that many households were struggling to make ends meet, to put food on the table, to take care of their families, and we knew we needed to help.
When the pandemic hit, my neighbor and friend Annette Mogel and I wondered what we could do to help local farmers and food insufficient members of Temple Bethel. We collected cash from friends and temple members in several communities and contacted Elinor. Word got out and the cash kept flowing. As the need increased, we received help from the COVID Annual Give campaign. Weekly trips to the farms ended in the summer, and we began working with local businesses like Stallone's and the Boys Farmers Market, providing meals and food for vulnerable households and helping our local businesses who were providing food to us at wholesale prices. We organized a weekly produce delivery for families who couldn't afford a trip to the supermarket, and a group of volunteers to deliver groceries and meals to those unable to leave their homes. We couldn't stand by when so many people were suffering and alone.
This past December, when the vaccine became available to those 65 and older, and we all started to feel some hope that this would soon be over, many seniors struggled to navigate very complicated and competitive online appointment systems. Once again, some heroes stepped forward to help.
So when the pandemic was reaching a point where we now had the opportunity to get vaccinated, one of the major needs that we saw was
the people needing help actually securing these vaccine appointments. We received a call from Rabbi Jessica. She wanted to know if there was any way that we could use our experience and our knowledge and assist those who were in the Temple community at Temple Bethel. And so I saw this as an opportunity to really have a direct impact on my community. This Temple Bethel is a community that my husband and I have been a part of for many, many years. And so we were able to connect with Debbie Gadima and Jessica Benedetto and Elinor, Rabbi Greg, and through everyone's efforts, we were able to identify people within the congregation who really fell into that category of needing assistance one way or another.
So we had the opportunity in early March to actually watch the pop-up event that happened at the temple, and we were able to then see all of the folks that we were helping book through those appointments walk through that process, and it was really nice to see, and just to see the amount of effort that it takes to actually make these things happen. So it was very easy before to just book appointments online and kind of move on to the next name, but now we're actually watching the whole thing happen.
We are surrounded by heroes. Tonight, we've highlighted just a few who have stood on the front lines to make a difference. And tonight, we pay tribute to them all, to every person who stepped forward to create, to offer guidance, and to do what needed to be done so that we could stay together as a family, as a community, as a holy congregation. Throughout the centuries, our people have learned that God's presence is found in community. It is found when we open our hearts up to each other and say, "You matter. Your life means something to me. And if I can do something that makes it better, then I will." No need to ask who should volunteer, who should help. Hineni, here I am. I volunteer. I'm here to help.